On Saturday, November 19th, the world's best pound-for-pound boxer will be crowned. Sergey Crusher Kovalev, the WBO, WBA, and IBF light heavyweight world champion, and Andre S.O.G. Ward, two-time world champion, will collide for the unified light heavyweight world championship. Their hotly anticipated fight will be only the third bout in the history of the Ring Magazine pound-for-pound list to pit two undefeated top 5 ranked pound-for-pound fighters against each other. Odds makers and pundits have this fight evenly matched at 50-50. It's poised to be a surefire 2016 Fight of the Year candidate. Making the fight even more intriguing, Kovalev and Ward are polar opposites. Kovalev, the Russian wrecking ball with a seemingly unstoppable offense-first approach, stands in stark contrast to Ward, the last American man to win an Olympic gold medal in boxing, whose slick defensive style has been an unsolvable riddle for every foe he's taken on since he was 12 years old. Neither man has faced an opponent like this before. Who will be the next pound-for-pound king? Don't miss Kovalev versus Ward, Saturday, November 19th, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, live on pay-per-view.
This is Mike and Mike on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Takes the snap, back to throw, looks left, throws left to the end zone, touchdown Giants, Sterling Shepard.
Gutsy call there by Ben McAdoo, great route by the rookie.
Odell Beckham Jr.
We're really looking forward to February 5th in Houston. That's the goal, obviously. This is a playoff defense, and offense, we're working to get better each and every day. We're making strides. We're heading in the right direction.
Bring me on board for real. I need to be set for life with this. If you want me to be truly in on this, then I need to be all in on this proper as owner.
Now, here's Mike and Mike.
Good morning. We are Mike and Mike, presented by Progressive Insurance. Our guests on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. And every hour this morning, we're giving you one last chance to travel with us to the college football championship game. Great trip, great experience. Just listen for the word and we'll tell you how to enter it. We'll do it for the first time in 20 minutes. Come with us to Tampa to see Alabama and someone play for the College Football National Championship. And Golic will get to the college plenty this morning. But we start with the Giants holding off the Bengals on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, Giants holding off the Bengals, taking some chances, going for it early in the fourth quarter. Right by the goal line. Turns out to be a touchdown, going for it on fourth down and goal and getting the score. And then I got to tell you that high-priced and valued defense that they went and got in the offseason, we saw early in the season it really come out of the gate strong and then, kind of leveled off a bit. But you're seeing them make timely plays, big pressures on quarterbacks. I mean, they're doing a really good job, and you have some offensive firepower. It's good to see Jennings back running the ball again. He had missed some time. You know what you have in Beckham and the young kid Shepard as well. So if you can keep that old line somewhat stable, they had a rookie, I believe it was left guard, getting his first start. I think he lasted a series before he got hurt. So you got to keep some stability up there. But you have to like the way the Giants are going right now. The offensive firepower and defensively, that sometimes when you bring in a collection of guys and pay them the hired guns, so to speak, it doesn't always work out. But right now, from the pressure side of it, it's certainly working out for them.
Well, listen, last year with the Giants, no lead was safe.
Right.
And I'll give you the statistic on that in a moment. Last night, they nursed a 1-point lead for over 14 minutes and held on and won the game. And that overcoming more Eli Manning turnovers and other issues, and that defense making plays when they had to. Let me give you the number. Last year, the New York Giants lost 4 games where they had the lead in the final minute of the fourth quarter. They had 3 losses when they led by double digits in the fourth quarter. They went out and they spent over $100 million guaranteed dollars on defense. And so what does that do? It doesn't have to make you the number 1 defense in the NFL.
No.
It doesn't have to make you Minnesota or Denver. What it does have to do is make it so you can make a play. Somewhere, I always hear you guys, you coaches especially, just someone make a play. They've got guys now on that defense who in a big spot and a big stop will make a play. And last night, they made quite a few of them, taking Dalton to the ground a few different times, and that's the difference in the game.
We'll get into those numbers. Pressure on the quarterback. We'll give you the numbers of those. You've got Landon Collins with 4 picks in the last 3 games, making the plays a lot of times because of the pressure. So you're exactly right, making plays. On the other side, it was Cincinnati with a big sack here or a turnover there. They had 2 interceptions and not taking advantage of those situations. Cincinnati's in some trouble, and they're going to start barking in Cincinnati again about the coach, and that's going to turn, I think, ugly before it turns better for that situation. But for the Giants, That's a nice win for them, some good sailing for them at this point.
Put up Cincinnati's schedule for me, will you, Stanzik? Because here's the one thing you have going for if you're Cincinnati. I'm going to play the Beckham sound and everything in a minute, but let's do the Cincinnati side of it quickly. According to our FPI, their playoff chances dropped to 20% with this loss. This is their worst record after 9 games. They're 3-5-1 since the year before Dalton and A.J. Green got there. But here's the good news. The division lead is 4 losses, right?
Right.
I mean, the Ravens,
yep.
and are the Ravens running away and hiding in that division? I still think Pittsburgh is the team to worry about.
I agree.
So if you're sitting there right now with 5 losses and a tie, so let's even say it's 6 losses, here's what Cincinnati's looking at. Buffalo, then they get their crack at Baltimore, then the Eagles, then they get Cleveland, then they get Pittsburgh, Houston, and they get Baltimore again. So they have 2 more cracks at Baltimore. The Bengals, this is much too early in the season to even be using this term, but they control their destiny. They're too good to be this bad, if you ask me. They have too many good players to be playing the way they're playing. Maybe that is the ultimate indication that it's time after all these years for a change.
I think they're trending down, but I agree with you. Offensively, getting Eifert back. You have A.J. Green. Defensively, Geno Atkins, he's been great. He's been hurt. He's been up. He's been down. But I think the defense has been slipping on that side of the ball. You do have teams, or you do have players, Greeny, but I think they're trending down. I think this is, and I know technically they're still in it. But I'm really looking at more Pittsburgh and Baltimore as the 2 teams, while Cincy mathematically is way in this thing because no one's running away with it. I have a lot of doubts about them right now and about the way they're performing.
That's the downside. The upside, of course, is the New York Football Giants, led by their star Odell Beckham, 10 catches, 97 yards, and a touchdown last night. He is the fastest receiver ever, according to Elias, to 3,500 career receiving yards. He also caught his 31st touchdown since entering the league last night, so he is 1 ahead of Antonio Brown for most in the league in that span. And so the Giants now 4-1 at home. They win another close game after always losing close games. Eli getting enough done. They're good for a couple of explosive plays, as you said. I love them going for it on the 4th and goal from the 3-yard line. It's early in the 4th quarter when they make that decision. Yeah. Gruden was saying kick the field goal, and they go for the touchdown. They get it. You look like a genius when you do it, and you wind up nursing a 1-point lead for 14 minutes.
Yeah, it's 20-14. It's right at the end of the 3rd quarter. It's 2nd and goal, and you change quarters. You end the quarter, and McAdoo told Eli at that point, this is 4-down territory. And Eli said that was kind of early to hear something like that, but at least, we all knew that then. And sure enough, you kick the field goal, you're down a field goal, and you just get in field goal range to tie it. But McAdoo said that was 4-down territory, and it worked out on a 4th down. They get the touchdown, as you said, nurse that lead. And by nursing that lead, the defense came up big. They came up pressure. I'll give you some numbers in a bit to how well they're pressuring the quarterback.
All right, Mike and Mike presented by Progressive Insurance. You can test drive Snapshot, see how much you could save before switching to Progressive. Visit progressive.com/snapshot. Here's a little bit of Odell. So, in golf they teach you that you should not think about what you want your final score to be. You must just think about the process, right? Just think about hitting a good shot. Make a good swing right here. Hit a good shot. Play a good hole. Don't think about what you want your score to be at the end of the day.
Make sure you time up the windmill.
Whatever that.
When you're putting.
That's how Golic thinks about it. But whatever it is, you should just be in the moment. Be concerned with the process. Don't be thinking about the end result. Odell Beckham doesn't quite believe in that philosophy.
We're really looking forward to February 5th in Houston. That's the goal, obviously. I probably said that the past 2-3 years since I've been in the league, but I feel real confident in this team. This defense is a Super Bowl defense. This is a playoff defense. And offense, we're working to get better each and every day. And I can kind of just feel this team gelling and molding, and everybody, the O-linemen hanging out with the receivers hanging out with the DBs. Everybody's just, we're excited about the opportunity, and I think we got to make the most of it. Games like tonight where we're playing this team and 3 times in a row, defense comes over to stop, and offense is like, finally, we got to do something to end the game. End the game. Don't even put the defense back on the field. So we're making strides. We're heading in the right direction.
Maybe one of the reasons he's looking ahead to that because their next two games are against Chicago and Cleveland, so he can't look past that. But that's what McAdoo and some of the other guys are going to go, oh, God, now I got to answer this.
Yeah, look,
but, I mean, listen.
Think about the difference in where Odell was the last time they were on Monday Night Football, right? Remember the last time the Giants were on Monday Night Football was that week 3 or 4. They played Minnesota. They played badly. That was the game where he was getting into it with everybody. Week 4, the whole world. That was the week that begat an entire week of Odell Beckham conversation.
It did.
Right?
Yes, it did.
And then he was proposing to a kicking net.
Yes, he was.
So you know what? In the big picture,
You'll take this.
If he's thinking, you know what, we're all having fun. I can feel us coming together. We're gelling, and I'm thinking about the Super Bowl. That's fine.
I'm not making no one's making a big deal of that. Especially given where they were a few weeks ago. So they're playing well right now. They are putting it together well in a division where they have one team kind of running away with it in the Dallas Cowboys. They're only a couple of losses behind them.
And they beat them. Remember, Dallas's only loss this year was at home to the Giants.
So they know they get them one more time. And, there's obviously, if you're not getting the division, you're playing for that wild card as well. Things are going well for the Giants right now.
Yeah, though look at the division. I mean, the division is stacked.
Yes, it is.
Look at the NFC East. Everybody is sitting there good. I mean, the team that is in last place in the NFC East, the Philadelphia Eagles, have the third best point differential in the NFL. They're in last in the division.
They would be tied for first, second, and second in the other divisions in the NFC with that record.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a good indication of a number of things, including how quickly things can turn.
Yeah.
We were making fun of the NFC East last year.
Yeah.
That division was a joke last year, and all of a sudden, right now, I would say the AFC West is the best division
and
in the
NFC
NFL.
East. These are the two most competitive, certainly, divisions.
I have one more I want you to hear from Beckham, because we all derive our inspiration from different places.
Yes.
Right? And we are all influenced by different people.
Mm-hmm.
Odell has an interesting person that is inspiring him right now. Give a listen to this.
I usually go to things like that for inspiration. I like seeing guys in their atmosphere. Even when I was going to the U.S. Open and I was watching them play tennis, it's just something about seeing someone else in their own zone. Sure enough, after he won the fight, this is my first UFC fight ever, and everybody's, tweeting at me like, why are you mad that he won? I'm like, I came here to see him. My mind is just wired differently. So when I'm sitting there watching him and I have this blank stare on my face, there's so many thoughts that are going through my head. So I definitely got a lot of inspiration from going there and watching him win, double champ. And sure enough, we come out and we win today. So it's been a pretty good weekend.
So he's talking about Conor McGregor. I should have set that up that way, but one way or another, he is talking about Conor. So that's where Odell is getting his inspiration.
Okay, not bad inspiration. McGregor's just obviously tearing it up. I watched the fight on Saturday against Alvarez. It wasn't even that much of a fight. It was no competition at all. But now where McGregor's going and wanting to take a piece of the UFC, thinks he should get that. Maybe that's what Odell's looking for. Maybe he's looking to change the way contracts are done, and he should get a few points, of what the league's making as opposed to his contract. We got to get into that McGregor stuff at some point. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, we had that sound.
Yeah.
We didn't get to it yesterday. I can play that for you coming up this morning if you would like. Mike and Mike, Herm Edwards, I see him already. Here's ready to go. He'll be live with us coming up in about 20 minutes. In 9 minutes, we'll have the winning word of the morning. Again, today we're going to give it to you multiple times. It's your last chance to win this fabulous trip with us to the College Football National Championship game. But let's do off the top, Mike, and take you through some of the other things that happen in sports. Again, it starts with Monday Night Football. The Giants go to 6-3 with their win. So I'll put it to you this way. I'll just put you on the spot right now. Do the Giants make the playoffs?
I think the Giants make the playoffs, yeah. They're definitely good enough to make the playoffs. Firepower on offense. The defense is playing well by pressuring the quarterback. Let me quickly give you that. They pressured or sacked Andy Dalton, a sack or duress. 13 of his 33 dropbacks. That's 39%. The highest pressure percentage of his career. And the key was they did it in the fourth quarter on 7 of his 11 dropbacks. So that money they spent is coming together well. You cross your fingers in that situation, but that defense is playing well enough to go with the offense. Yes, I do think they make the playoffs.
I do too. They also have the easiest remaining schedule of any team in the division.
Off the top.
Elsewhere, if you're looking for us on TV, we are on ESPN News this morning because the College Hoops Tip-Off Marathon is underway, and it's on ESPN2. And among the games, Mike, the UConn women won again, but just barely.
Yeah, they beat Florida State 78-76. It was their 76th straight win, but it was their closest win since beating number 2 Baylor 65-64 in November of 2010.
Off the top.
Elsewhere, James Harden continues to go up. Mikey scored 23 points in the first quarter last night as the Rockets beat the 76ers. Again, that guy playing for that coach is a tremendous fantasy basketball opportunity.
Let me expand it to where we are in the NBA right now. There's never been a season in NBA history in which 5 guys were averaging 30 points a game through 10 games. And right now, Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis, Damian Lillard, James Harden, all averaging over 30, all have played 10 games. DeMar DeRozan has played 9 games and is averaging 34 points a game.
Yeah.
So his next game, he'll stay above 30. So this would be the first time in history we've had 5 guys over 30 points, 10 games in.
DeRozan is a guy that no one ever talks about, and he's a good player on a good team.
Off the top.
Elsewhere, Corey Seager and Michael Fulmer were named the Rookies of the Year. I have a fascinating, and I do mean fascinating, little fun fact on the Tigers pitcher, but it's the Dodgers' young shortstop everybody's talking about.
Everybody's talking about Seager. He had a 6-1 WAR this season, 3rd most by a rookie shortstop in the last 17 years. Did I see this as a 17th Rookie of the Year award for the Dodgers?
Yeah.
More than doubling the closest, which I think is the Yankees and the A's are tied with 8 on that. Today is Manager of the Year. Joe Madden could become the first manager to win multiple awards in both leagues. He won in 2008 and 11 in Tampa Bay and 15 with the Cubs. So we'll see if he wins it again, and maybe Francona will win it in the American League.
Is Madden going to win it in the National League? Is that clear? Yeah, he's got all. I mean, he had the best team, but
yeah, he did.
They won the most games, and they were all young. I believe he will deserve to win that award. And the new top 25 in the college football playoff rankings will be revealed tonight, 9 Eastern, exclusively on ESPN. Let's pause there. We'll get into that right now. Mike and Mike presented by Progressive Insurance. We'll be talking college football with Trevor Manich in our studio at 7:30 Eastern, and Danny Cannell will be here 9 Eastern. Again, Herman's on the way. Tons of guests on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line this morning. And if you can't be with us all morning, it's another reminder you can listen to all 4 hours of Mike and Mike on demand in the ESPN app. But we told you yesterday, Mike, and the numbers are pretty simple. According to our analytics, the 4 teams that should be in the top 4 tonight in this order, because they are the 4 teams that are all in the top 5 of both strength of record and FPI, which means who our analytics believe are just the best teams, are Alabama 1, Clemson 2, Ohio State 3, and Louisville 4. I made my prediction yesterday based upon the way I think things should go. I believe that this will be the first year ever we have a non-conference champion in this Final Four, and it's the first year ever. It's only going to be the 3rd time we've done it.
Right.
But whatever, I think there is a very good chance that we will get one of the 2. I believe it will be Ohio State. I also think Louisville has a good chance. So I think that at least one of those 2 teams is going to wind up in it, and I'll give you the scenario for Ohio State in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, the team on the bubble of that is Washington. Even if Washington were to go all the way through now and win the Pac-12 with that one loss, they're the shaky one of the group in a lot of people's eyes after their loss to USC, which USC, by the way, is playing extremely well right now. So that will be the interesting one. But what else is fun is I love the breakout of scenarios for teams like Wisconsin, Penn State, Colorado, and West Virginia to possibly get in that Final Four. We had said the Big 12 was done, but now with all these losses, is there an outside chance, a scenario? These teams will need some help, but some certainly control their own destiny as far as conference championship games are concerned. So that makes it even more interesting as well.
I don't think Wisconsin needs help. I think Wisconsin, if they win out, which would include a Big Ten championship, they get in. That's my opinion. I could be totally wrong. I think they're going to be
agree
6th.
With that.
I think they're going to be 6th tonight. So,
and I don't know why that would change with Penn State. Why that would change with Penn State? Why if Penn State won the Big Ten, wouldn't they be in?
Penn State would have a very tough time being left out because they would have to have beaten Ohio State. Yeah. I mean, they have beaten Ohio State. They would have to beat Wisconsin. Now they got shellacked by Michigan. They have one loss. Their 2 losses, by the way, are to Pittsburgh and Michigan. So Pittsburgh, which is just barely above 500, has beaten Clemson and Penn State this year.
Oh yeah.
You believe if Penn State wins the Big Ten, they're in.
All I have to say is if Penn State wins the Big Ten, you can't tell me you're going to put Ohio State in and leave Penn State out when Penn State beat them. You can't do it.
That's the disaster scenario for Ohio State. Right. I agree with you. Right. Here's the best scenario for Ohio State. I ran into Brad Edwards in the hallway yesterday. Boy, was that fortuitous. You all know Brad Edwards, one of our college football analysts, and he was best known by us on our show as our BCS expert.
Absolutely.
So I saw him and I said, Brad, who would be number 2 in the country tonight in the old BCS thing? And he said, it all depends on the polls. He hadn't seen the AP. Whoever the polls would have determined that. But here's what he said to me. Here's how Ohio State gets in. If Wisconsin wins the Big Ten and Oklahoma wins the Big 12, then Ohio State would be 11-1 with a row of huge wins.
Yeah.
One very close loss, and they would have beaten the Big Ten champ and the Big 12 champ.
Yeah, it's a great resume.
Plus Michigan.
Yeah, they have a great resume.
At 11-1.
Yeah.
And a team that everyone eye test says
I agree.
Maybe the second best team in the country.
I'm with you. Their resume is
I believe they will get in.
Yeah, their resume is going to be tough to beat. Circumstances may keep them out.
No, you're right. The nightmare scenario for them is Penn State.
Yep.
If Penn State wins the Big Ten, how do you put Ohio State in ahead of Penn State
and leave them out
if they beat them? It's almost impossible to do.
I don't see how you can, as much as you will scream about their resume and who they beat, and I'm with you. I agree. You just you won't be able to do that unless you put them both in.
But I would argue a one-loss Ohio State team deserves to go ahead of a one-loss Washington, even if Washington wins the Pac-12.
We're going to find out. We're going to find out what the committee puts on a conference champion. They already are kind of dismissing the Pac-12. The Pac-12 is down. Listen, there is no denying, and we've seen other conferences be down, and right now the Pac-12 is down. I get it. So they could very well be on shaky ground.
All right, we're going to get into all of this and much more. Herman's on the way next, but here is the most important thing we're doing. Today is the last day of our contest, and it is in its own way the worst day. I mean, Brooksy, he is going out with a bang.
Yeah,
and by that I mean we're firing him at the end of the show.
We are.
Because the last day, we want to go over the top in entries, right? We want millions of people to enter this contest today. Please enter this contest. It's your last chance. We will pick a winner today.
We will.
You and a guest on your way with us, thanks to AutoZone, on the road to the college football national championship game. Get in the zone with AutoZone.
Yes.
We're all fired up.
Trip is fantastic.
And he makes the word finale.
Finale.
Who's going to spell this right?
Finale. You know people are screwed up.
It's not finally.
No, it's not.
It's not final.
Final. No.
It's finale.
Finale.
Finale. It's not that easy of a word.
Do you believe that, and it's going to happen, people will cost themselves a chance on this trip because they'll leave out the E.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll leave out the E, and it's all on Brooksy. So this, overall, at the end, could be a very successful contest for us, and Brooksy still will be fired.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The word of the day today should have been cat.
Yeah. The.
Yes.
No.
There is no word that wouldn't have been better than this.
Yeah.
And yet, this is what we have.
Finale.
Because one man gets to make that decision, and that man is an idiot. So today's word, please overcome this and enter the word today en masse. Finale. There are 2 ways to enter. Do it both ways.
Enter both ways. And again, the most important thing, these are the only 2 ways. You won't be registered any other way officially with us. So take the word finale and text it to 777-000 and enter it online at Mike's Road to the CFP.com. Last day for this game. Take the word, text it to 777-000, enter it online at Mike's Road to the CFP.com. Show us that you all can overcome our idiot producer.
That's right.
Yeah.
So please, today in our finale, enter the word finale, and you're on your way with us. Herman is next. Right now, a word from AutoZone, Mike, where they do everything they can to put you in your zone. Whether it's getting you the right part or giving the helpful advice you need, they will always help you get there.
They have been fantastic throughout, sponsoring this contest for us. Again, your last chance to win the Mike and Mike at the College Football Playoff Sweepstakes presented by AutoZone. We'll give you multiple opportunities today to do that. So, again, thanks to our friends at AutoZone, who, by the way, they're always there. They're always going to help you get there with thousands of parts in stock, helpful people to guide you. They've got everything you need to tackle your auto maintenance and repair projects with confidence. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Visit Mike's Road to the CFP.com for all the official rules. That's Mike's Road to the CFP.com. We hope you're traveling with us to the national title game. We're back after this on Mike and Mike.
Checking over the play clock. Calls signals, takes the snap, back to throw. Looks left, throws left to the end zone. Touchdown, Giants, Sterling Shepard.
Gutsy call there by Ben McAdoo. Great route by the rookie.
That's a big decision made there by McAdoo, going for it on the 4th and goal from the 3. Right. Very beginning part of the fourth quarter last night in a game in which they trailed by 6. They get it, and they hold on to the 1-point lead the rest of the way. Giants win at 21-20, play-by-play courtesy WFAN. The Dodgers' Corey Seager unanimously named the National League Rookie of the Year. Tiger pitcher Michael Fulmer wins the award in the American League. Later in this hour, I have a little note on Fulmer that you're going to love. Are you laughing because you know it?
No, I don't know it.
Okay, you're going to love it.
Oh, good.
It has nothing to do with baseball.
Good.
But it's about him personally that you're really going to enjoy. And then again, really maybe our top story. I think everyone very interested to see what the college football playoff rankings tell us tonight. They'll be unveiled exclusively 9 Eastern on ESPN. Our Sports Center is brought to you by AutoZone.
We're giving you a chance to be on the road with us to the national championship game. Today's your last chance to win the Mike and Mike on the road to the college football playoff sweepstakes presented by AutoZone. Just visit Mike's Road to the CFP.com for all the details.
You play to win the game.
Every week at this time, It is our distinct pleasure. Indeed, I may go so far as to use the word privilege. To welcome the one, the only, Herm Edwards into our studio. Good morning, Herman.
It's a great morning. If you're a Giant fan, you're excited about what you witnessed last night at home. When you think about a team that could not run the football, they made attempts. I think Jennings obviously helped them. The no huddle, I thought, was a good idea for this offense. Get the ball in hand very quickly. You think about some decisions that were made by the coaching staff, especially on offense. The 4th down play I thought was a big-time call. Gave the team a lot of confidence in the red zone. And that's where the game was won or lost when you think about this game. It was a very tight game. The 4th down call, obviously a touchdown. They dialed up the play that took advantage of the defense, got Burfitch on the Shepard.
Right.
We're playing quarters coverage. And
that's a
basically,
mismatch.
Yeah. And when you're the underneath guy, you know you have to cover that wide receiver due to the facts of how they ran the routes. Then the big time defense at the end, getting to the quarterback with the lead, and not allowing them to get in the field goal range. So it was a game that the Giants needed to win. They are probably one of the favorites right now as a wild card team to get into the NFC picture as a playoff team.
And don't you? I guess I hold my breath a little bit when you see a team get after it in free agency, spend a lot of money, because too many times we've seen, forgetting one guy, when it's multiple guys, and what was it, over $100 million they put in.
Those were the guarantees,
The guarantees to this defense. When you kind of say, wow, they're getting after it, but then you kind of hold your breath and say, sometimes hired guns don't always work, and get together.
Saw it in Miami.
That's exactly
Last
right.
year.
But this they really seem to be gelling nicely.
And we saw the first game of the season where you went, wow, look at this defense. And all of a sudden they disappeared.
Right.
And maybe it was a lot of that was due to the fact that the offense was sloppy. They're still sloppy with the ball. They're -8 in the giveaway, takeaway. They turned over 2 times last night. Really didn't hurt them, but they got to be careful with the ball at times. But the running game helped them. I thought their offensive line, even though they're hurt, did a pretty good job against a nice front. Now, Atkins made some plays and Dunlap, but that's part of the deal. But the Giants, for the most part, won a game they needed to win. Cincinnati is in a division, even though they lost. I still think Pittsburgh probably wins that division.
I think Cincy is, and Green and I were talking about this, Herm. They have talent, but man, I think they're trending down right now. I can't put my finger on it. The one I can't put my finger on the most is Green Bay, but with Cincinnati and some of the talent they have, it's a little surprising. And you know what's going to happen now? They are going to start barking down there in Cincinnati a lot.
No doubt. And it's kind of ironic. We see it every year, and I've always said this: during the course of a season, 10-6 and 6-10 is probably 35 to 40 plays. And you think about those teams, okay? Look where the Jets are right now. Arizona, Carolina, Cincinnati. those are teams, except for the Jets, that won over, got in the playoffs.
Right.
Jets won 10
and the Jets
games
won
last
10
year.
games, yeah.
So all of a sudden, you look at those teams this year, a lot of same players are back. Most coaching staffs are back. And that's what I always say. It's a 10-6, 6-10 league. And it's 35 to 40 plays. You make them, and coaches always say, make the play. Just make a play, man, to see what happens. You don't make them, you're 6-10. You make them, you're 10-6. I mean, that's the league we're in.
And generally, Cincinnati's defense has been bad. I mean, all things considered, that's a team that has hung its hat. While Dalton had a very good year last year before he got hurt, they obviously have A.J. Green. They run it a little bit. The tight end is good. They've been good because their defense has been good. And this year, their defense is not good.
Not good. And they had been balanced on offense. When they lost Hugh Jackson, all of a sudden they couldn't run the football.
Right.
He's in Cleveland now. And Cleveland was running the ball pretty good early in the season. They were the number one running team. Everybody said, what, Cleveland Browns? Yeah. So, a new coordinator, maybe he calls plays a little bit different, whatever it may be. But they're a team right now. You see the talent, but you see that they're not the same team. They played the Jets the first game of the season. That was their one road win, right?
Yeah.
And they had a great comeback. And you went, whoa, Cincinnati's rolling again.
Yep.
And then from there, they've kind of sputtered.
Really, really have. I think for the Giants, one of the tangible things, what was the big deal with them last year? Fifth or five fourth quarter leads that they blew?
They've won
at least that,
I
believe
five.
I believe I saw
that's right.
It was five fourth quarter
The Giants lost 4 games where they had a lead in the final minute of the fourth quarter. 3 losses when they led by double digits in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, ridiculous. And that's one of the big turnarounds. This year, they're in the top 10, allowing only 5.3 points in the fourth quarter. Yeah. Last year, they were tied for worst with the Saints, giving up just under 9 points in the fourth quarter. There's a tangible difference right there.
But that's your point exactly. It's that one play they didn't make last year, the Carolina game. You could sit there if you watch the Giants play. You can rattle off the plays that killed them last season. You just make one defensive play somewhere. This year, they're making that one play.
And that's why there's all, and when the season ends, it's kind of ironic. You sit there as a coaching staff, and I was real big on this with our staff. I said, look, guys, we're a 10-6 football team. I said, but, really, when you look at it, we make a play here, we win, and you forget about it. When you win a game, it's just you win. You don't think about what happened. Yeah. But now when you break it down at the offseason, you look at how close it was. And even when you're the other team, when you're 6-10, you go, hey, man, we're 25 plays from being 10-6. And people will say, oh, you're crazy. No, you're not. That's what this league's about. That's why you see this, I call it parity. I think it's great right now. There's so many teams that are still in the mix of maybe winning a playoff spot, maybe even winning a division. We know the AFC West is one of the better divisions.
Without question.
Right?
Yep.
We know the NFC East all of a sudden is going to be pretty competitive. And the rest of the divisions you look at and go, okay, well, what's going on? We know the East, Captain America lives there. They lost a game, but,
they're
good.
They're fine.
They're good. They're going to be okay.
They'll be all right.
We know that. But it's kind of fun watching this thing unfold.
It is.
Let me ask you a question about the Giants, Herman, because I know you well enough to know that you are sort of a traditional-minded football coach. There's one thing the New York Giants cannot do. They cannot run the ball.
No.
Now, they ran it last night a little bit.
Yes,
they busted a couple of plays with Jennings. But they are 31st in a 32-team league in running the football. They also turn it over. Eli continues to turn the ball over at an alarming rate. They have a -8 turnover margin. That's 3rd worst in the NFL. So they're winning these close games right now because they got Beckham who'll make a play and the defense will make a stop. But if you turn the ball over and you can't run it, Herman, is that a recipe for success that will last as the weather all of a sudden starts to shift and we get into the final month of the season?
It is not. It is not. And
I know you, Herman. I've known you a long time.
No, it's not.
Herman, if you can't run the ball and you're going to turn it over, you're going to lose Herm Edwards.
You're going to lose. You're going to lose games. And I think the teams that continue to win in this league, eventually, when the leaves fall off the trees, they have some type of toughness to them. And running makes you tough. It makes you a tough-minded team. It also gives you the ability to control the game. It protects your quarterback. It leaves you many options on offense when you can run the football. The play-action pass becomes one of, we're in trouble. We're in trouble now when you can do that. When you play like the Giants are playing right now, it's in the gun. It's quick. It's throw the ball, flaring it out, hit some draws every once in a while. You're hoping you can hit it that way, but eventually that doesn't work. It puts you in a lot of 3rd and long.
But here they're in make hay while you can.
Exactly.
They're winning the games that they lost
games.
last year. Their next 2 games are Chicago and Cleveland.
Should be fine.
Obviously, you have to take care of business there. Then you get in a stretch of Pittsburgh, Dallas, Detroit, Philadelphia, Washington.
All playoff teams.
So that's a tough stretch. So they need to get these next 2 wins. They need to be 8-3 going into that, and then you try and get a couple of wins out of those last ones if they can. Because I'm with you, Herm and Greeny. Those stats they will bite you. They will absolutely bite you, turning the ball over, minus turnover margin, and not being able to run the ball. Those are absolute recipes for not winning. That's why they need to build these wins up right now and hang on.
Now, Denver was special. They were -4 in the giveaway takeaway, but they had the best defense in captivity last year. Right. They sacked the quarterback. They took the ball away. Didn't allow you points. This Giant defense is not that.
Didn't turn it over in the playoffs. They were turning it over in the regular season. They got into the playoffs.
Exactly right.
They had Peyton Manning, who knew enough to just not turn the ball over and let his defense win.
Exactly. And, you just run into some teams eventually where you won't beat them that way. When you play good football teams, it's very difficult to beat them.
Herm Edwards is here with the Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, half the cost. He'll be here with us a while. Ryan Clark is on the way. We'll go 4 wide with him. And coming up next, it's my favorite story of the day by far, and it's going to be yours too. We'll all get a little bit of a smile after this word from Dollar Shave Club. We love Dollar Shave. They've been with us, Mike, for years. The shave is fantastic.
Yep, you know about the razors, but they have other amazing products as well. Stuff for your hair, your face, for everywhere to keep you feeling and looking fresh. So if you're not a member and have never joined Dollar Shave Club, now's the time, because you're going to get your first month of razors for free. All you do is pay for shipping. And after that, it's only a few bucks to join. So go to dollarshaveclub.com/Mike. That's dollarshaveclub.com/Mike. We're back after this on Mike and Mike.
Cintas, getting you ready for the work.
Sports Center brought to you by AutoZone. We're giving you a chance to be on the road with us to the national championship game to watch Alabama and somebody. Today is your last chance to win the Mike and Mike on the road to the college football playoff sweepstakes presented by AutoZone. Visit Mike's Road to the CFP.com for all the official rules.
Next time we'll play give you the word. It'll be in 30 minutes. Half hour from right now, we'll give you the word and the ways to enter. And you could be on your way with us. Herm Edwards is here in our studio. My favorite story of the day in just a moment. But first, as the rest of the country joins us, Herman, you have a confused look on your face about this college football playoff stuff. And that's good. It should be that way.
Oh, it's confusing.
It's meant to be confusing.
Oh, well, it should be. And
what's your question?
Well, my question is, if Penn State wins out, are they one of the top 4 or what?
I believe so.
I believe they will be.
If they win the Big Ten championship, I think they get in.
I don't think you're going to get an argument. Wisconsin may be the only one possibly out of the ACC champ, if it's Clemson, the Big Ten champ, and obviously the SEC champ. Many think it's going to be Alabama. It's the Pac-12 champ. The Pac-12's down this year. The committee
supposedly down, but you know what? There's a team out there right now that I know won't get in. It's
USC. They're playing great, but unfortunately they built themselves too much of a hole.
They lost 3 games.
Yeah. So they can't get in.
That's going to be too much of a hole for them. And the conference as a whole is down a bit, and the committee is going to – that's going to be the big question is, where does the conference championship rank, is against a resume like an Ohio State? Ohio State's resume is fantastic.
I'll say this. I'll even go so far as to say this. If Ohio State finishes 11-1 and gets left out, then – this year, it might be the closest you ever get to me starting to come over to your side of saying we need to add to it. Because my personal opinion is that Ohio State is the second best team in the country, having watched all year long. And I think they will have the second best resume in the country, regardless of who wins conference championships. I mean, I don't know how. I don't even know how that could be argued. They killed Oklahoma. They beat a good Tulsa team. They beat Wisconsin. They lost on a blocked field goal at Penn State late in the game. That's not a bad loss. It's actually a good loss. They have a sensational resume. They will have beaten Michigan in order by now again, Michigan could end this discussion by beating Ohio State.
Exactly right.
That becomes irrelevant. And then Michigan will go play for the Big Ten title, and they will absolutely win and they get in and 100% deserve it. But what I'm saying is, in my opinion, if Ohio State finishes at 11-1, and they don't get a chance to play for the championship, the entire thing is on some level invalidated. Because to me, I think they're the second best team in the country.
All right,
that's my opinion.
That's your opinion. I mean, and we get 13 different people in a committee room to give their opinion and what their criteria is. That's this whole thing, Herman. We went from the computers to 13 people
humans
with their criteria, and each time we hear the committee chairman on, sometimes it can be a different reason. But that's what you get with humans. So you just have to accept that and say, okay, what are they going to go by this time? At the end of all of this, they're going to have to put something on the conference championship. Will it be enough to keep an Ohio State team who has an incredible resume out?
Why don't they make it 8 teams?
I think eventually we're going to get there.
What are they waiting on?
I think we get there, but you know who that doesn't help?
Who's that?
Ohio State if they get left out this year.
We say college is for higher learning, is for the student athlete, but come on. These guys are in it to make the money. So when are they going to 8? Just go ahead and go to 8 and figure it out.
As soon as they figure out where all
they already got the blueprint for 8. Yeah. It's just a matter. They just want to slide it under the rug over there. We'll get 8 eventually.
I agree. It's going to get
these guys.
Herm Edwards is a national treasure. Mike and Mike reminding you, don't forget to listen tomorrow morning for Gruden's Groove, powered by Die Hard at Sears Auto Center. All right. You're going to like this story.
Okay.
You know Michael Fulmer, right? Mm-hmm. So he was acquired from the Mets to the Tigers in the Yoenis Cespedes trade at the deadline last season.
Right.
Yesterday, he was named the American League Rookie of the Year. Congratulations, young pitcher Michael Fulmer. So I'm just going to read you the story directly from Yahoo as it was sent to me. When the long baseball season is over, many major leaguers pack up and head home for a hard-earned vacation. Some of the things they do, they play golf, they hang around with family, they luxuriate in the simple pleasure of being able to do nothing for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Fulmer, however, does not have an off-season. Yes, he has a day off every now and again to play golf, but he is also working at his off-season job. Michael Fulmer is a plumber. He picked up the trade during the 2015 offseason while he was working at a golf course. This year, he has dedicated himself to it full-time. He works at his friend's uncle's plumbing outfit and does all the plumbing-type things you'd expect him to around the Oklahoma City area. He digs ditches, changes sewer lines, replacing old pipes with new PVC pipes, exchanges water heaters, sinks, faucets, and fixes leaky toilets. When asked, the 23-year-old who made $507,000 this year why he did this, he said, quote, because it's fun. So Michael Fulmer, during the offseason, he makes $500,000. He is the Rookie of the Year. He has, whatever it is, 4 months off. Mm-hmm. He is a full-time plumber.
Good for him. He enjoys that. How about that?
He's a plumber, huh?
That's pretty wild.
Those guys make a lot an hour, too, by the way. You ever had a plumber ever come to your house?
Oh, yeah.
I tell you what. I told the guy, the guy came to my house one day. I said, hey, partner, you on the watch, man.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's get, you need to get this done real
if
fast.
He owns the company. He's going to make a whole lot there. It'll be interesting. I guarantee you, though, the plumber isn't making $500,000 like
Fulmer. I almost called him Phil Fulmer.
What will be interesting is when Fulmer, if and when he signs a big deal, if he
continues to plumb.
Yeah. And then the biggest question of all, without a doubt, when he's working, can you see his plumber's cracks? I mean, seriously? Come on, everybody was wondering, right? Everybody was wondering, when he bends down to do something, do we get the plumber's crack?
Well, all I know is this. Everything now is plastic, so it never works.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen.
It never works.
Hey everyone, this is Rachel Young-Gu from the ESPN Esports Podcast. Is Overwatch the next big esport? How much has BlizzCon changed over the past few years? We break it all down on this week's podcast. Be sure to tune in.
I'm Andy Katz, along with my co-host Seth Greenberg, on the latest edition of Courtside with Katz and Coach G. We're going to look at the first full week of the college basketball season. Seth won't make some predictions, but he's going to break down some games. That's on Courtside with Katz and Coach G.
Louisville heads to Houston to face a dangerous Cougar team on Thursday night.
47 yards right up the middle.
Coverage begins at 7 Eastern on ESPN and on ESPN Radio. Presented by Dr. Pepper.